it's time for another lesson. And today our lesson is going to be about DDS files. So I'm actually at a school computer today, but I'm a little on the remote side. So things may lag just a tiny bit as the transition from my location to the school's location. So let's go ahead and start by opening up our Tech Club folder. And we're going to open up two programs. We're going to open up GIMP. And we're going to open up our old friend Photoshop. So while this is pulling up, we don't, yeah, we do. Okay, so in your Tech Club folder, you should also see something called DDS. You'll see female fashions, male fashions, and mounts. We will have to go through some of these file folders until we can find one in English. These look kind of funky because they're in Chinese, and American computers do not translate Chinese very well. I have created this one right here in English. I know it says test, but that's okay. So I'm going to translate these for you so that you can select one of these, but for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to go with test. So we're going to start with our GIMP program. Okay, so this is our GIMP program. I want to open this up just a little bit so we don't see Photoshop, because I don't want you to get confused. This is GIMP. Now, you can actually do DDS files on GIMP all by itself. You can. But we have been working with Photoshop for a big portion of the year. And maybe this is something that we can work on next year as far as working more with GIMP. But we're going to just work with Photoshop anyway. Why did I pull up GIMP? Because we're going to use GIMP as a translator. So, File, Open. There's the Test DDS. And you can see the little window that came up behind my mouse that tells you exactly what file we're looking at. But if you couldn't find it, here's the desktop, Tech Club folder, and you can see it's all coming out right here. DDS, whichever fashion you're going to pick, and whichever textures you're going to go with. And find the DDS that you pick. If you don't know what they look like, if you click on it, it will show up here. Anything in Chinese, though, it's not going to show up because GIMP don't know Chinese. But don't worry, by the time you get to this, I will have translated all these for you. So we're going to work on test. We're going to open up test. So this is what a DDS file looks like. A DDS means Direct Draw Surface. This is what's telling your video games what color it will be. In this case, we're working on a dress for a particular character, and we're going to tell that dress what it will look like. Now, when you originally make a DDS file, it has no color on it at all, and you would have to piece out all of these parts based on what it will look like on the mod or the mesh, which is usually created with other programs such as Blender and Cinema 4D. You can make them in Cinema 4D as well. But that may be for another year. So we're going to go to File, and we're going to go to Export As. Okay, so I've actually already exported this as a JPEG and as a PNG, but I'm going to show you again anyway. So we got to come up here to the name, and we've got to get rid of DDS. Okay, we're going to be using PNG, P-N-G. So I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to pull up my on keyboard P-N-G. There we go. And, well, I already got test, so we'll change this name too, so that you can see that, you know, you can change it to anything you want. But we are going to be using P. Okay, how original. So we're going to export it. Now, it's going to come out as a PNG. Come right here where it says All Exported Images. There's an arrow right here. Scroll down until you see PNG, P-N-G, so that it matches this up here. Okay, and export it. Say, yep, you're sure. Do everything I want you to do, and export. So, though we don't really need GIMP for a while still, we're going to just send this to the taskbar. And we're going to open up our Photoshop. I kind of figured that since we've been working on Photoshop this whole year, let's stay with Photoshop for now. Perhaps later I can make a tutorial where we do the same thing with GIMP, but I'm looking at the time that we have left before we present our creations for this year. Oh, it's already been up. Okay, great. Now we're going to open our file, or our DDS that we just made. So we're going to File, and we're going to open. Now, I know it's already up here in the path in which we go to find our file is already here. But if you still don't know where this is, we're going to click on Desktop. We're going to go to Tech Club folder, DDS, and then whatever file fashion that you're choosing. Remember, you're not going to be able to select anything that's still written in Chinese. You're going to have to come down here to one of these that are already in English. I'm going to click the one that I'm choosing to change. Okay, so there are several ways that we can change this. And really, your creativity is going to be entirely up to you. Rule number 1. You can't change this piece location. You can't change this piece location. You can't change this piece location. Where they are is where they must be. What you choose to do with each piece or each section is entirely up to you. So that's rule number 1. The easiest way to just simply change, for example, if you like the patterns and the textures that are being used here, but you just don't like purple, adjust color. We're going to go to adjust hue and saturation. We're going to give you this lovely range of colors and darknesses. So it's purple. Now, just because This little circle is between the green and the blue. It does not make this green and blue. In fact, I am literally changing the rainbow according to where it's at the moment. I want you to notice that even right here while I'm in blue on the dress, it looks like I'm on the green here. So you're not going to be able to use these colors per se to understand what color you're getting here. But you can use this slide and look and see if there's a different color that you like. But do notice something. When I'm changing, I'm not only changing the dress, I'm also changing the skin color. So, alright, how do I prevent from changing the skin color? Well, let's put a cancel on this one for right now. We're going to use a select tool right here. Quick selection. And we're going to go and we're going to pick all of these parts that are skin toned. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like that. Alright. I'm going to bring up my keyboard so you can see. Control C. Okay, it's copy. Control V. And it instantly comes up with a new layer. So, if I want to make sure that I've gotten all the skin, I can poke its eye out. And there's all the skin. Minus the dress. Okay? That means we can actually click back on this layer, and now we can go to Enhance, Adjust Color, Adjust Hue and Saturation, and now I've got the full range of whatever color I want to show. I like that berry color. That's pretty. But you can pick whatever color you want. Yellow. Green. Teal mint or something color. Oh, that's a pretty good one. I like that one. Let's go with that one. Okay. Now, notice that none of my skin changed its color. I managed to save that. But if I poked its little eye out, I took out that layer, my skin is purple. And if your skin is not matching the head of your character, you're going to have a problem. Because you're also going to be able to create your own face. Same way. So let's bring its eyes back and let's put the skin back on. Alright, so what would happen if you want to change the fingernails? Okay. There's a size right here. Oh, wrong side. Yeah, this one. So, we're going to zoom in, let's say, let's try 250. 250%. How close is that going to get us? Oh, nice and close. So, we have magnified our vision 250%. And now I have, I can see these fingernails really well, but look at the size of my brush. There's no way I can click on that. That's not going to work. But I can change my brush size to make it as tiny as I can. Now, I can get right in here, and I can pick just those fingernails. Okay, so I showed you how to change the color by just simply changing the hue. But What if that's not the way you want to change the colors? That's okay. I can come over here and I can choose a color with this ink drop or a tool picker, or I can come right here and literally set my color. Let's see, what would go well with the blue? Pink and blue? Maybe pink? Maybe a funky color like blue? Let me see. If I were doing my nails and I was wearing blue, I probably would go with pink. Let me see if I can find pink. No, I'm not pink enough. Baby pink. Okay, so I'm going to go with baby pink. So I'm going to click over here, and you see that it changed my little square. You can have up to 2 colors on the ready by simply just clicking on these little 2 arrows, and it'll switch places. So if I did happen to like this teal color or this blue, I don't know the color, I can just simply use the eyedropper over here and just take my little eyedropper, and there's that color. Maybe I don't like the darker one, maybe I want the lighter color one, maybe too light. This color. Oh, there we go. And the teal and the pink go well together. So I could literally paint the fingernails these 2 colors. Same thing though, to protect our original DDS, we're going to make a copy of it. Now I'm bringing my computer screen up so that you know what I'm touching. Control C, which means to copy, and then Control V, which brings me a whole new layer right here. Okay, so I'm going to click on this layer, and I'm going to get my quick tool picker, and since there's nothing else on this layer except fingernails, it's not going to really matter because I'm going to get it all, bam, like that, because that's the only thing that's on this layer. In fact, I can come over here and even name this layer Nails. Like that, just so I can remember, even though it looks blank, it's not blank. There's these 5 little dots. I can even name this one Skin, so that I know not to mess these particular layers up. Okay? So back to the nails. So before I actually do anything, I'm going to have to change the order with, of the layers that I have here. So I need nails to be above the skin and the skin to be below the nails. So I could sit here and either click and hold nails and put it on top like this, or I can take the skin and drag and hold and put it underneath the nails. Either way, you're going to get the same results. So now I'm going to click on my nails, and I've already got my nails are still highlighted, and I'm going to choose my colors, this brush. Now let's swipe over it. Just swipe right over it. Easiest nail painting job any girl will ever do. Okay, I don't like the blue, or the teal. I wanted pink instead, and that's okay. And I'm just going to make sure that pink is on top here, and just swipe right over it again. Get a different color. And, okay, so what if I thought that wasn't pink enough? Okay, just come right over here, pick me another color. A little darker, so okay. You'll notice it changes down here. Take my brush and wipe right over it. When I am happy with my coloring of that particular layer, you'll notice that the ants are still there. You're going to go Control D, and it's no longer highlighted. Let's move this out 100%. Okay, that's good. That's a good sign. So let's say that I don't want everything to be blue. Let's say that maybe I want some yellow involved. So I'm going to come back here to my layer. Let's put this one as base. Alright, base. So I'm going to use this as my base. I'm going to be very careful not to do too much changes to this. Minimal changes. And let's see. Maybe I want every other thing. Let me see. I'll just size my brush a little bit bigger. I want this bead. This bead. I may go in. Change my zoom back to 200. 2000. So I can zoom in. I'm going to use these side scroll bars to get to the place that I want. Anything that I grabbed that I didn't want, I'm just going to hold my Alt key down. I'm sorry. Does my Alt key not work? Holding my Alt key down, and you'll see how the mouse turns from a negative sign, whereas when I had the Alt off, it was a plus sign. So plus means add, and the little minus means subtract. So we're going to subtract this down the edge here. We just only want that bead. We don't want part of the dress. And yes, it is possible that you're going to have to get close and get really picky. You may even have to change your brush size. So we may have to change our brush size for something a little bit more accurate. Might be why we couldn't get anything early. Okay, I want this bead. Alright, so it's grabbing a little bit of the dress. We're going to use the Alt key again and subtract some of the article of clothing here. Okay, alright. So I got two beads that I'm going to color into something else. Let's see, I think I want to change, all this side ribbon right here. Let's see if I can do that without grabbing everything. It looks like something easy I can grab. And don't just choose not to grab something because you think it's hard. You can grab whatever you want, and if it grabs something that you don't want, remember what I said, just come over here, get your subtraction going, and just run over the parts that you didn't mean to grab. Okay, so there's another ribbon piece. I'm going to grab it. Just running over it with my quick selection tool right here, and I'm holding my mouse down while I'm dragging and grabbing all these pieces. Alright, so Alt, back over here, and fix this piece. Okay. There's another ribbon piece. I'm going to grab it. Oh, I'm sorry, I got that one. Just grab it. Alright, I got that one. Here's another piece right in here. It's a larger piece, but that's okay. I'm going to grab it. And let's see, I'm going to grab this part right here. Very intricate part. Now I'm already realizing that I'm grabbing way more than I want, but like I said, I'm going to use my Alt key and take off the parts that I don't want, or I don't want to change. Okay. So, like I said, I grabbed some pieces that I didn't want. So I'm going to put on my Alt. Come back in here and remove part that I didn't want. It may take a steady hand. You may have to have a steady hand. Oh, if you wanted to know how I zoomed in and out, your mouse has... some mice have the little wheel in the middle. So your mouse will have a little wheel in the middle, and you can use it to zoom in and out quickly, and that's okay. And you can see it change right here when I zoom in. You see how it changes. Now remember, what you've selected, that's what will change. So if you've gotten more than you wanted, or you didn't get enough of what you wanted, it will show up. It's only going to do what you tell it to. That's not going to make anything up. So if you grab it and didn't mean to, it will change it anyway. But I want you to remember now, there is such thing as a undo button. So, didn't mean to, for whatever reason, just undo it. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to make sure that I got all the ribbon pieces that I wanted to get. I think I got it. Or all the pieces that I wanted. Okay, so taking the Alt off, Control C for copy, and then Control V for paste, and there it is. I can undo this. There's all my ribbon pieces that I've selected, and the 2 beads that I chose. I'm going to name this ribbon. I don't know that it's actually a ribbon, but I'm going to call it ribbon. It could be just border. That's okay. Okay, so with just only the ribbon highlighted, I'm going to go to Enhance again, and I'm going to adjust the color. Just here. And you know, I really think that yellow is going to be really pretty. Let's see if I can find it. I have to find it. Oh my God. Look at I've had pink. Okay. Oh, wait, I just saw it. Oh, that's gonna be nice. So, what would happen if there was something that I wanted to add to this? Maybe I want a little floral decoration right here. Let's say I wanted that. So I'm going to open up my file and I'm going to choose something that I've already downloaded. Okay, now I want to download I found this trend that I really like. Okay, so I'm going to change its color. So I'm going to just roughly get all over, just like I did to get the fingernails earlier. Okay. And that will give me all the little ants all the way around it. So I'm going to just give it some color. Let me see what color I would like to use. You know what? Let's go with that pink that looks like a fingernail. Yes. And now I'm going to get my brush. And I'm going to actually get a big brush so that I don't have to take a lot trying to get it all colored. Boom. And just like that, it's completely colored in. Amazing, isn't it? Okay, so now I'm going to look at my photo bin. And I can still see that my dress is right here. This right here may be huge in comparison to my dress. That's okay. We can resize. Come up here, Control D. Dancing ants, and we're going to move it. And we're just going to go back to the bin tool. And we're going to move this right into here. Now, it's huge, and we kind of knew it would be, but we're going to resize it. We're going to resize it by simply pressing Control T. And then we can grab these corners. Grab these corners and just shrink it down. Let me move mine. Shrinking this down to as small as I want it. And then there's this little tool right here where you can, like this stick off to the side. And when you get your mouse on it just right, it kind of gives you the double arrows here. And I'm going to just turn it in a direction that I want. That may not be where I want it yet, so I want to move this into the place that I want to use it at so I can adjust it from there. A little bit. We may have to zoom in a bit. We're going to zoom in 150. Scroll down so I can see what I'm looking some embroidery right there. It'll look really pretty on my nails. You know, and if I do happen to bring this in and I decide that I don't like that color, just as we did the nails, you've already got it right here. You can change the color to whatever you wish. Okay, so I'm liking what's up. I'm going to push the check and it's there. But like I said, if I end up not liking it, as long as I've clicked on the layer, I'm going to call this one flowers. Alright, so let's say that I decided that I don't like the color of my flowers. So I'm going to click on that layer. I'm just going to kind of use my quick selection, and I'm just going to run that mouse right over it, making sure I grab everything. Okay. And then I want it to match my nails perfectly. So I'm going to get my little tool, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab that shade of pink. It's right there. It changed just a little bit, and I'm going to run this mouse right over it. Right on top of just like that. And it did what I want it to. Alright. To release the dancing ants. Control D. Releases those ants. Okay. What was it? 80, I think, maybe. And now it doesn't even look like anything that I started with. And you could add more if you want. You can color up anything, change any colors. But I mean, as far as now knowing how to do it, I've pretty much covered everything. It's just up to you as to how many layers do you want? How many pieces do you want to change? You want to come over here and change these solid ribbons. Then change them, or you want to put something else here, put your name there. But let's say that I'm finished, so I'm going to click on base, and I'm going to hold down my shift key, holding down my shift key, and I'm going to click the top one, and it's going to grab all of these layers together at once. You see? And then Control E, and it squashes them all together in one. Okay? So then I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Save As. I'm going to save this as Shawna. And it's a PNG. That's okay. And save. Do you really want to replace it? I do. Okay. Okay. So we're pretty much done with Photoshop right now. And so we're going to just put this down the taskbar. And we're going to bring back up GIMP. This is what we had on GIMP. But we're not going to be using that one anymore. We're going to open up our newly made one, this right here, and look at the difference. You can tell we've done something different. It was purple, and now it is that. I guess it's ready for spring. And we're going to just open this. And we're going to change this back to a DDS by going to File, Export As. Okay, so same thing that we were doing earlier, we're going to change this PNG to DDS. Okay, then you're going to go down to here, this arrow, and you're going to select it. And you're going to have to find DDS here also. Remember that DDS means Direct Draw Surface. and export. Are you sure you want to save it as a DDS? I sure do. Okay. So congratulations, this DDS is complete. Let's see what this DDS looks like on our character.